So fellas, so it's Saturday, 28th of September. Nice balmy 80 something degrees, 85, 86 or so. That was that. Anyway, already working on the truck. Let me get you off here and show you what we're... All right, so I got all that wired up. I still have to get a cable to go from the harness over here to the fuse block. I've decided to keep the battery up here, so I went ahead and bought a new battery tray from LMC, I think it is. That should get here next week. Fan controllers hooked up. I drilled a hole through the side of here to run the leads for the fan. You can see them in there maybe. So I just decided, you know, how the hassle of I'd have to take the bed liner out. I'd have to drill a hole in the box, run a cable up here, and I just rather have the battery up here, even though it's weight in front. This is not a drag truck, it's just a street truck. So I'm about to hook up the heater hose, and I made this out of a freeze plug. It's a 555012, if I can hold it still long enough to get that number. And I drilled a 1/4-inch hole in it. So I'll put that inside of the big heater hose, because coming off of here, it's 3/4. Then the one for the return that goes down to the bottom of the water pump is a 1/2 inch. So, or 5/8 I should say. So I got a little adapter, and so right before the adapter, I'm going to put that in the 3/4-inch hose. It's just a restrictor like they used to put in the SSP cars. Keeps the heater core from getting a lot of pressure in it. This mess right here is all the vacuum lines that used to be on here. I've got to get a couple adapters and some small hose to run vacuum to that, and then to the heater controls and to the fuel pressure regulator. And that part will be wrapped up. I set the battery in here the other day, and I spun it over with the key, so the starter works, everything works. I had tested the fuel pressure regulator, or fuel pressure in the lines, and had a little bit of a leak. I had to pull them back off, replace a couple of O-rings, and then this one was tweaked a little bit, so it was about like so, and it was getting some seepage out of the front, so I kind of bent the rail back so it's the cup of the rail sits right on top, perpendicular to the fuel injector. So that's good now. So I'm about to go run into town to get the fuel, or the vacuum lines and the adapters, and then so tomorrow I'll prime the engine with oil, get it up on top dead center, and then put the distributor in, and then we'll see if we can make some spark. So, oh, also I've got to finish that, the coil mount. Got some ideas in my head. And final thing I probably have to do is make a little guard to go on the back of this, because this is really close. I could put a couple of zip ties around that, but I might just make a shield that rivets to the back end of that to keep it from connecting to it. The originally I remembered seeing this was zip tied up to the inlet tubes for the air cleaner, from the air cleaner to the throttle body. That was all over here. Of course, this is way different and a lot lighter. But I don't know if down the road if I'll be able to cut this and modify it to where I can run the dual throttle bodies, because it's sitting up underneath the firewall so far. I'd figure cipher on that for a while. But everything's going smoothly, just time consuming. I've realized how spoiled I am from working on the Mustangs, because everything's right there in front of you. Lean over and you work on it, not having to like stand down blocks to reach it over here. And I'm 6'2". I can imagine some guys are 5'8" or something like that. Probably what a pain in the ass these are. So anyway, that's where I'm at now. Made some progress today. Oh, I don't have any out here, I don't think. Hold on a second. So Lowe's is having a sale on these battery packs. If you got DeWalt power tools, you get 4 batteries, a 4-pack, 2 amps, 2 4 amps, for $149. And I think it said it goes until October 10th. So you got, a week and a half or so if you guys want to snag them up. Even the the guy at Lowe's who had to get the box off the shelf, he's like, wow, that's a really good deal. I said, yeah, that's why I drove over here, because it was in Gulf Breeze. So I had to drive over there 6 o'clock this morning to go get them, because the store over here didn't have them. And I wanted to get them before they got sold out. So anyway, just passing that along. Hope you all doing well. We didn't have any issues with a hurricane. I got a day off from it. That's about the only effect. It was east of us, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours away on the other side of Tallahassee. So the way hurricanes are, the west side is usually calm, not as chaotic as the east side. On the east side of hurricanes, you get all the water, you get the hail, you get the tornadoes, you get all that stuff, a whole smorgasbord of weather. And that thing tore up the whole west coast from Tampa, St. Petersburg north, because that's, like I said, that's where all the water's at. And the surge is like a wall of water goes ahead of the hurricane. Some spots it was like 9 or 12 feet. Usually it was around 3 to 4 foot higher than anything that ever had before. And you're not getting much footage yet because nobody's got power over there yet, but I imagine it'll come out. And then Brad up in I think he's in Tennessee or Kentucky, they got all kinds of water up there washing out bridges. My daughter and her beau are up in North Carolina, supposed to go to a wedding that was supposed to happen today. So they're up on a mountain in North Carolina, and the roads got flooded, so they're stuck up there for probably the rest of the weekend. Wedding got canceled. So it's affected the whole eastern part of the U.S. so far. And then I think there's 2 more further in the Gulf, in the down southern part of the Gulf, that they're anticipate coming up somewhere. They won't know yet till it gets closer, but the models are getting more and more accurate. So luckily, another one for us that we've dodged. Like I said, the people out east got a whole lot rougher. So anyway, we'll appreciate y'all. Talk to you in the next clip, probably tomorrow. What's up, guys? So I thought I'd have some good news today, but not really. Everything's together. I decided to not cobble stuff together just to get it running. I said I'll just do the stuff one time, otherwise cobble it together, get it running, and then I'd take it apart and redo it. So what I did everything, hooked up as best I could based on what I recalled. Like that battery cable is probably going to have to be moved or replaced when I get the tray in. So everything's hooked up. I had my fuse back here because there was 2 holes already and they lined up with the fuse blocks. So I said, great. Then I went to close the hood and I was like, oh shit, that's right in the way. So this is just temp mounted here. I got to see how much real estate the good lord, the battery tray is going to take up. That sits in here like so. This is the battery, came out of the truck, and got this ground, goes right down to the frame, if you can see it. A little dark down there, but that should be good on that. I think it's oriented so that these battery cables should be long enough. Everything's connected. I didn't change that because I just wanted to I didn't want to run the grinder and all that today, so it's late in the afternoon on a Sunday. So I'll mess with that some other time. But I mean, it turns over fine. I ain't got no sparks. So the sparkers aren't sparking. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. You can see that strip up here I took off where the cowl, it's supposed to be like an insulator up against the back of the hood. I took that off. I'm going to take the cowl panel off and reapply seam sealer in there. I'm sure it's all dried up and crusty, so I'll take that off. Get some seam sealer in the cracks that I'm sure are there, because I do get a little bit of water in the cab on that side by the door. I decided to mount the vacuum tree from the trooper car in there, because otherwise I had to run a whole bunch of these kind of T's, and I didn't want to do that. So just decided to run one of those. Went to put the vacuum line on the fuel pressure regulator, and the bottom of the intake is just touching the top of the nipple, so I'll have to take the upper intake off again and bend that nipple out a little bit so I can get a vacuum line to it. That's what this was going to be for. We got all kinds of vacuum line there for it. And this, I'll have to look at the pictures when I first got it. I think this might have mounted to the intake. I don't think it mounted there, but everything lines up. I just want to cut this and then orient it so it's more of a straight up and down. Not crazy about having the cable mounted on, or the coil mounted on the engine so you get the vibration, but plenty of other cars do. So we're gonna wrap this up for the night. I gotta go out, wash cars in the front, and let this sit. Guess I'm not real happy with it right now. So I'll figure out what's going on and get this. We'll have spark in here sometime once I do some troubleshooting and ciphering. But it's pretty much complete. Just kind of waiting on that battery tray so I can get the battery set in there and get a vacuum or a inlet tube on that. All right, we'll catch you in the next clip there, fellas. That'll be probably next weekend. Later. Appreciate y'all.